Now, let me share one video, okay? And then we'll understand more about this.
The theory of the Big Five The theory of the Big Five personality traits claims that we can describe ourselves with 5 main characteristics: open, conscientious, extrovert, agreeable, neurotic. Each of us varies in how much of each trait is shown in our personality. In order to understand what each trait really means, let's look at these 5 characters and how they cope after they wreck their boat and are stranded on an island in the middle of the ocean. Open Odalia is excited and interested in exploring this beautiful island. The exotic nature inspires her. She has collected stones, shells, and blossoms to decorate the entrance of the bamboo hut that she built for everyone. She feels this is an opportunity to learn so many new things. Claire is conscientious. She is not excited. She is concerned about the seriousness of the situation. She is glad she saved the survival kit from their ship. As usual, she is prepared and starts the crucial tasks right away. She feels that it is her duty to organize everyone and make sure that they will start looking for the things they need for survival: fresh water and food. Extrovert Emil is thrilled because they all survived. He feels a strong need to talk and share his happiness. He gathers everyone to celebrate their survival and to tell them about his plan to explore the island together. Agreeable Albert is kind by nature, and despite being tired and thirsty, his main concern is Nora. He offers her a drink from his coconut. The others know that he usually agrees to everything and are not shy to ask for his help. Nora is neurotic and easily stressed. She has a total breakdown. She sits down on the beach and cries. How are they ever going to get away from this island? To her, the ocean around them looks endless. Nature looks dark and dangerous. She feels completely lost. After 8 weeks, 2 ships appear on the horizon. Everyone gets excited. Emil has the idea to make a fire. He calls the others to help. Claire immediately starts to work. Albert brings more wood. Odalia is holding up her beautifully arranged SOS sign, while Nora screams desperately for help. Little do they know who is sailing on these ships. The first ship carries a group of psychologists who have been traveling the ocean since the 1980s. They are investigating the Big Five personality traits, which is also known as the 5-factor or ocean model. The captain, Louis Goldberg, coined the term Big Five. He is thrilled when he sees the 5 friends at the beach, each one matching exactly one trait: open, conscientious, extrovert, agreeable, neurotic. Though he decides not to stop the boat. As a scientist, he prefers to watch from afar. On the other ship are 5 pirates, all possessing the exact opposite traits of our friends. Let's see if you can recognize them. Pirate 1 is emotionally stable and very relaxed. When she sees the survivors on the beach, she says, "We could help them." Pirate 2 immediately gets angry with her. He is not listening to anyone and is not willing to change his plans in order to help some strangers on an island. Pirate 3 thinks this is a complex situation. He thinks that all possible outcomes need to be considered. He feels the need to be alone and think. Pirate 4 doesn't care. He's busy looking for the keys to his treasure chest, which is lost again. The captain is not open to any new experiences. He ends all discussions when he says, "Our boat won't stop." What do you think about the Big Five? Do you recognize your own personality in some of the traits? Or do you think this theory is flawed, as we cannot describe an entire personality in 5 parameters? If you watch this in class and you are not sure which traits you have, pick a friend and describe each other. Many of us are bad at describing ourselves. so an outside perspective is often helpful.
Okay, just wait for one more minute. There's one more video.
Trait psychology is an accessible way of looking at personality science. See, we use traits in everyday life to describe ourselves, describe others, and our behaviors. But which traits bring us all together as humans, and which one separates us as individuals? So in the past couple videos, I've described how personality psychologists have narrowed down the infinite list of traits to the most important traits that are present in all people. These traits are usually presented on a spectrum. For example, extroversion is frequently a trait present in important personality studies. All people display some levels of extroversion, but some people are definitely more extreme extroverts than others. As personality psychology has evolved, the number of important traits has changed. The so-called happy medium has included 5 traits that are present in some degree among all people. In this video, I'm going to be talking about these 5 traits and the 6th one that has made its way into popular personality psychology. So, the original big 5 traits are also known as the ocean model or the canoe model. Ocean stands for openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. So let's take a look at each one of these individually. The first one is openness to experience. Now, most of these traits are actually pretty self-explanatory. The openness to experience trait describes people who are curious about the world around them and they feel comfortable trying out new things. These people tend to enjoy creative activities and are more inclined to exploring different areas of life or alternative ideas. People who score low on this scale usually don't break out of their comfort zone very often. Different activities, routines, or ideas may make them feel uncomfortable. The number 2 is conscientiousness, and I know it's a big word, but people who are more conscientious tend to pay more attention to detail and they put more effort into organizing their everyday activities. On the extreme end, you might call some people OCD. These people are more likely to plan out every detail of a vacation itinerary or reread their work a handful of times before they turn it in. Now, on the other hand, people who score low in terms of conscientiousness are usually more likely to let things happen without planning or organizing. In fact, on the extreme end of not being conscientious, some psychologists call this impulsiveness. Now, this is a good time to reiterate that a high score on all of these traits does not make you a better or a worse person. Depending on your values and the culture that you're raised in, you may view conscientiousness as a positive or a negative trait. In fact, like I said earlier, too much conscientiousness is associated with OCD disorders. Now, it's important to remember that personality tests will not tell you if you're a good person, they just tell you which traits you have and how they influence your decisions. Number 3 is extroversion. So extroverts are more likely to respond positively to the stimuli in the outside world. They feel more comfortable around lots of people, and whenever lots of things are happening around them. They feel refreshed and energized after they get done talking to a group of people. Introverts, on the other hand, prefer to eliminate outside stimuli and focus inward. They actually feel drained after they talk to a whole bunch of people. You can also find introversion and extroversion on the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator personality quiz, which is something I'll talk about in a later video. Number 4 is agreeableness. People who are more agreeable are more willing to take action in order to make peace with others. Agreeable people are also more likely to be patient with others. These type of people might sacrifice what they actually want just for the sake of others, or maybe to let go of angry feelings quicker. Researchers have put competitiveness on the other side of the scale here, so you're either agreeable or you're competitive. This trait still has some debate in the personality psychology world because, honestly, not very many people want to be called disagreeable. This is why they have renamed it competitive. And lastly is number 5, neuroticism. Now, this is the final big 5 trait, and it's also known as emotionality by other personality theorists. People who score high on neuroticism are more likely to experience heightened feelings of anxiety, paranoia, depression, or aggression. Now, these feelings may have a large impact on the way that a person behaves or the way that they perceive the world around them. Now, just like the N in the PIN model that I talked about earlier, people high in neuroticism usually have higher highs and they also have lower lows. Now, I also want to let you know that there is a new development. It's called the honesty-humility trait. Personality psychology is always evolving, and researchers have recently added a 6th trait to the Big 5 model. It's called honesty and humility. The addition of this trait has actually called for some tweaks to the acronym. Researchers have added an H to the Big 5. They started to represent extroversion with an X, and then they changed neuroticism to emotionality. And then they can change the acronym to form these 6 traits, and they call it the Hexaco model of personality. Basically the same thing as a Big 5. The honesty-humility trait was starting to be added when the Big 5 started to expand beyond American studies. Researchers began to assess whether or not the Big 5 were present in languages other than just English, and as the research continued, they realized that all of the Big 5 traits were present, and honesty and humility kept appearing as an additional trait. Now, some personality psychologists believe that the honesty-humility factor is the polar opposite of the traits found in the dark triad. The dark triad is another personality quiz that I'll be talking about next, so if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon. A person who is more honest and humble is less likely to be narcissistic, psychopathic, and a Machiavellian leader, which are coincidentally the 3 traits that I'll be talking about in the next video. Not only does the addition of the honesty and humility reveal a person's tendency to tell the truth and play by the rules, it could also reveal who has a tendency to be manipulative or a seriously negative influence. So where can you find the Big 5 and the Hexaco tests? Ashton and Lee, the psychologists behind Hexaco, have a test on hexaco.org where you can see where you rank for each of the Hexaco terms. And they even have a part of the website where you can actually assess a friend's Hexaco inventory by answering questions about them. Now, psychologists are still collecting data related to Hexaco inventory, so your results will be recorded and probably used in further studies. So you can go ahead and try the Hexaco test with that link in the description, but I've also developed a 3-in-1 personality quiz that you can take on my website. It's also in the link in the description. It combines the Big 5, the Dark Triad, and the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator personality quizzes into one quiz that you can take in under 10 minutes. So I highly recommend you to check both of those out.
Fine. So this is again a system of personality which describe people in terms of 9 types, right? And it includes the motivation, fear, and internal dynamics into consideration. And it's an emotionally focused system of understanding people. Okay, and each of the 9 personality type has its own driving force. So it actually considers that what motivates you, what are your fears. Okay, so the personality based on all those factors, right? And the 9 type of the Enneagram are divided among heart type, head type, and the body type. So heart type depends on their emotional intelligence, right? Heart, emotional intelligence. Head, intellectual intelligence. And the heart type understand their own reactions and connect with others. The head type, intelligence to make sense of things and navigate the world around them. And the body type, right? So they are instinctual intelligence to follow their gut and respond to threat and the opportunities. Now, in all these 3, like the heart type and head type and body type, there will be 3 each. So this is the emotions first. We'll put the emotions first, right? And they connect with other people on an empathetic level and make sense of the world by understanding their feelings. And these types are guided by the feelings connected to their emotional relationship with the other. The value things such as emotional support, recognition, inclusion. So all that's important for them. And type 2, type 3, type 4 will be there, the giver. So 2 wants to be liked and find ways that they can be helpful to others so that they belong. This types fear being unlovable, right? Right, so we have a complete page on this as well. We will check that. Then the achiever. So 3 wants to be successful and admired by other people and are very conscious of their public image. Type 3s fear failure and not being seen as valuable by other people. And 4 are the individualist. So 4 wants to be unique and to experience deep, authentic emotions. And type 4 fear they are flawed and are overly focused on how they are different from other people. Right? So these 3 types are there, but all are under the heart type, the emotion. Right? Then the type where the intellect will take over. The type 5 is the investigator. 5 seek understanding and knowledge and are more comfortable with data than other people. The biggest fear of these is being overwhelmed by their own needs of other people or the needs of the other people. Then the 6 is skeptic. 6 are preoccupied with security, seek safety, and like to be prepared for the problems. And the greatest fear is being unprepared and unable to defend themselves from danger. Right? And the 7 are the enthusiast, and they want to have as much as fun as possible, as much as adventure as possible. Right? They'll be easily bored, and they fear experiencing emotional pain and sadness, actively seek to avoid it by staying busy. So they are the head type. The body type 8, 9, and the 1. They'll rely more on the instincts and gut, right? So the challenger 8 see themselves as strong and powerful and seek to stand up for what they believe in. The greatest fear of the type 8 is powerless, right? So that power, so they focus on controlling their environment. 9 is the peacemaker, and they like to go with the flow and let the people around them set the agenda. Type 9 fears pushing people away, prioritizing their own needs, and they tend to be passive, right? Then the type 1, perfectionist, right? And they follow the rules and doing things correctly. Type 1s fear being imperfect and can be extremely strict with themselves and others, right? So in case we have to read like specific, so we can check for the type 3. Okay, so it will give us that what are their deepest fear, the core motivation, right? The key personality, real, and right. So we will, let's check for type. So there are all these, and the achiever, right? That defined by the desire to be significant and to distinguish themselves through their achievements. So 3s appear confident, ambitious, and goal-oriented. They are unsure of their innate self-worth and look for validation through their accomplishments. So 3 are typically very image-focused. It is important to them that others see them as successful. Deepest fear, and 3 fear being insignificant or a failure. To cope with this fear, they look for ways to win in life, reassuring themselves that they are valuable, and their core motivation is need for attention and admiration. They strive to be successful and significant to avoid feeling worthless. See, this video is also there, which will explain all these things, like everything which is mentioned here will be in the video as well. So they are accurately aware of social necessities and impressive range of accomplishment, extremely busy and on the go, jam-packed schedules and meetings, may have interest in improvisation or acting, refined taste in outer appearance, and they are charismatic, makes good first impression. And it says that about 10%, right? So 3 were found to make up approximately 11% of the population. About 10% of women and 12% of men are 3s. And if we go in depth, then polished and sophisticated achievers have a particular taste for the nice things in life. They have the capacity for huge chunks of productivity to reach their goals and high standards. Their goal is to be remembered and appreciated for their discoveries and creation to be the best. Smart, ambitious, typically well-dressed, achievers hit and exceed targets left and right. Their performance and dedication is admired by others and may even inspire them to take action. And they are typically have schedules chock full of events and professional meetings to keep themselves busy and on the go. So at their best, achievers tend to be confident, energetic, humble role model who inspire others. This type can be incredibly productive, even a workaholic. They tend to dress well and enjoy materials and experiences that project an image of wealth or success. An unhealthy 3 may appear, right? And then self-aggrandizing and malicious. They may throw other people under the bus for their own advantage and appear untrustworthy, right? And 3s are part of the heart-based triad of the Enneagram, along with type 2s and type 4s. This triad focuses on emotion of grief and struggles with not feeling lovable as they are. As children, this type mostly likely learn from an early age that achievement resulted in love and praise. So they established their identity on gaining attention in the form of success. So these seek to project a specific image of themselves and repress their internal feelings. This type may struggle to understand their own emotions as they focus instead on what they want to do and achieve. Then the wings, right? So W2 type is a 3 that also resembles a type 2 in many ways. So these are outgoing, friendly, enjoy work that serves other. Again, yeah, work that serves other. They enjoy entertaining and are gurus at maintaining strong social bonds. This type thrives in careers such as advertising, event planning, broadcasting, entertainment, entrepreneurship. This type is 3 that shares many quality of the type 4. And this type tends to be more introverted, serious, and focused on work rather than social engagements and relationship, right? And the core values are recognition, applause, status, right? And threes are goal-driven, equipped with type A mentality and relentless drive for self-improvement, productivity, and achievement. Take the cake as the achievers' core values. Getting things done is more important than too much planning and wasted time spent daydreaming, right? So I'll not read all this, but okay. Slow down, practice active listening, embrace vulnerability, examine your thoughts, right? So these are the famous type threes. Oprah Winfrey, Tony Robbins, Taylor Swift, Muhammad Ali. This one I'll not read. Yeah, you can just go through this. So many threes are there. Yeah. Right, so what I can do, instead of reading, I can
DISC identifies 4 primary traits: drive, influence, support, and clarity. Marston observed that you can broadly define yourself by 1 or 2 of these. DISC is particularly helpful in the workplace as these styles describe how we interact with colleagues and our environment. Knowing your dominant style will help you understand how others see you, where conflict is likely to arise, and what sort of work roles will suit you best. Hello, I'm Samantha Mackay, lead trainer at Truity, and today I'm going to give you an overview of each of the 4 DISC styles. Now, if you aren't sure of your preferences, head over to truity.com/DISC to take our free assessment. Let's start with drive. People with a preference for drive focus on results and action. They have a get things done attitude at work, which is something others likely admire, but also find a bit intimidating. They are the person who speaks up, directs others, and ensures that goals are being met. Never afraid to make a decision, their workplace motto is do it now, ask for forgiveness later. They are quick to make a plan and assess the resources and skills required to get into action. Drive types can quickly get frustrated with people who have a lower level of drive, leading them to take on more work. They need to remember that ambitious goals cannot be achieved alone, and learning to trust people through delegation, coaching, and creating high-performing teams is key to their long-term success. Next is influence. People with a preference for influence focus on collaboration, inspiration, and persuasion. They use their enthusiasm and optimism to build a sense of excitement and fun at work. They are gifted communicators and likely have a flair for sales and marketing, even if they work in a completely different field. Always keen to bring people together, their workplace motto is, let's make it fun. They are quick to organise social events, team outings, and any other opportunity for interaction and conversation. Influence types struggle without social interaction and can end up needing help to follow through on their own projects. As boring as it sounds, they may need help to develop methods for managing their time and slowing down to listen to others. Next is support. People with a preference for support focus on supporting others, maintaining a calm, stable environment, and working in teams. They observe what others need and take care of them without others noticing or getting much appreciation in return. Kind, helpful, and caring, support types prefer to help other people reach their goals rather than focusing on their own. As the consummate team player, their workplace motto is working together is success. So they want everyone to contribute, whether that is to defining the goals or dividing up the tasks, and they take the time to get everyone's input. They are uncomfortable with too much tension and may shy away from conflict, even when it's something the team needs. Yet support types have the perfect skills for helping the team talk through the tricky issues that can undermine performance. They just need to remember it's okay to ask for and receive help, not just to give it to others. And finally, clarity. People with a preference for clarity focus on analysing information for accuracy, working consistently, and questioning assumptions. They prioritize analysis over action and aren't comfortable with making decisions until their research is correct and reliable. They do their best work at a consistent and steady pace, following a detailed schedule in a distraction-free environment. With their workplace motto being slow and steady wins the race, they are quick to call out bold ideas and question illogical shortcuts or random dates. However, they are very private and will keep their feelings and personal life to themselves, even when it would benefit them to share. Clarity types can struggle with change, spontaneity, and working with overly expressive people. They need to remember that true clarity comes from being able to appreciate the perspective of others and incorporate that into their analysis. So that's the 4 DISC styles in a nutshell. To learn more about your type, head over to trudy.com/DISC to take our free assessment and upgrade to our in-depth report to learn more about your DISC style.
Okay, so this journey, right? So there will be where a person falls along 2 axes of behavior: task focus or people focus and action focus, right? So taken together, these 2 axes forms a grid where each quadrant represent one of the 4 DISC personality types, right? So 2 axes, action orientation and task versus people orientation. So DISC is designed to measure 2 fundamental axes, right? Their task focus versus people focus, and whether they are outgoing or reserved. Right? So something the same as in the big 5 as well. The introversion is similar. And it was there in the MBTI as well, right? Right. So you might see these axes described using words such as control, openness, assertiveness, and receptiveness. Okay. Otherwise, like for this, like it's divided only in 4 personality, but we cannot divide everyone into like only 4, right? So that is one thing. And see, definitely you can go through all these in this personality library, right? So the blogs, Enneagram type, and myers-briggs is also there, MBTI, and careers. So that option, and big 5. Holland codes, we have already done that. RIASEC. That is what. So again, you can get all the like details in this as well. Right.